Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream sheets and the Pretrial bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream queen size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Pretrial queen size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to MyPillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. MyPillow.com. Promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us today. Wow, do we have a busy show for you today. Breaking news early evening last night as President Trump announced a historic Iran and Israel ceasefire agreement to end the, quote, 12-day war. We have the latest developments from the White House and the Middle East. We also have more details about Operation Midnight Hammer, the historic B-2 bomber mission that flew from Missouri to Iran, making the ceasefire possible. And this, of course, is all good news. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I hate to dampen the spirit, but Attorney General Pam Bondi was questioned Monday during a House budget hearing about Iranian nationals who entered the country illegally during Joe Biden's administration. They're still here, and let's pray they got the message about the ceasefire. We have the details on that, too. And in other news, a federal judge denies pretrial detention for alleged human smuggler Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia, but ICE plans immediate rearrest. We have that and a lot more, plus your phone calls, your emails, and your text messages.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
Let's start with President Donald Trump as he declared Israel and Iran, the fact that they have agreed to a ceasefire after missile exchanges, claiming the 12-day war will end following a phased implementation over 24 hours. President Trump shared in a post on social media, Truth Social, of course, "Congratulations to everyone," he said. "It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire." Just as the president made the announcement, Vice President J.D. Vance was appearing on Fox News with Brett Baer, and Baer read the post from the president. Here's the exchange with the vice president as they made the big announcement.
What happened with Iran in the Middle East and some breaking news coming just now. Joining us this evening, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Just seconds ago, the president went to Truth Social and typed this. "It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire." Complete and total ceasefire is what he typed.
Yep.
What does that mean? How did it come about? What's the development here?
Well, we were actually working on that just as I left the White House to come over here. So that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line. I think what it means, Brett, is quite simple. First of all, the president, without, knock on wood, having a single American casualty, obliterated the Iranian nuclear program. We are now in a place where we weren't a week ago. A week ago, Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it. So that's a very, very big thing. Now, what that means, I think, is we have to talk to Iran and, of course, to Israel about what the future holds. Because while we have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, our hope and our expectation is that they're not going to try to rebuild that program. And I think that's what the president is really trying to figure out here, is to build a long-term settlement here to where we can have peace in the region, where our regional allies and, of course, the American people, most importantly, can be secured, but where we can ensure that the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program that has already happened is not something they try to rebuild.
Baer then read the full post from President Trump as he made the announcement.
Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point, the ceasefire for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world.
Have you noticed something here in the last few days? President Trump yesterday, in his speech on Saturday, multiple times during this very stressful time, I'm sure, of watching as the world saw this unfold, and the threat of a potential beginning of World War III, President Trump mentioned God a number of times. He talked about prayer. He talked about God blessing the U.S., God blessing Israel, and God blessing Iran. It's like he has fully understood the role that God played in this whole process. Trump praised both countries for their stamina, courage, intelligence to end what he's calling the 12-day war. Bear asked the vice president if he had expected the ceasefire to happen yesterday, as it did.
When I left the White House, I thought that we might be able to get it across the finish line before this broadcast, and it looks like the president has been able to do that. I mean, look, he's been working the phones constantly. Frankly, before the 12-day war started, but certainly over the past 12 days, the president's been extremely clear about America's national objective here. It is to create a world where Iran cannot build a nuclear weapon. We, of course, destroyed the nuclear program that they had, and the president told the entire team, we're going to work to make sure that they don't try to rebuild that nuclear capability in the future. And this is a great thing. For Israel, think about this. They've accomplished an important military objective. They've helped us destroy the Iranian nuclear program. They've also destroyed the conventional missile capability of Iran that threatened the country of Israel. For the Iranians, I think this is a new opportunity to actually pursue the path of peace. As I said yesterday, what the Iranians have showed through their support of terror networks, through their now failed effort to build a nuclear weapon, is that they're just not very good at war. And I think the president really hit the reset button and said, look, let's actually produce long-term peace for the region. That's always been his goal. I actually think when we look back, we will say the 12-day war was an important reset moment for the entire region.
And, you know, the vice president may be right, because years from now, historians may talk about how this actually saved us from World War III, how this conflict, that it took us staring down Iran, it took Israel attacking Iran as they were fighting on their southern side with Hamas and Gaza, but they turned their attention on Iran at a very key time. And we all may look back on this and think this literally saved World War III. This could have saved a lot of lives had Iran been left to fully develop their nuclear capabilities. We'll see. Here's what we know, though, about the whole process yesterday and what unfolded. A senior Iranian official also confirmed the ceasefire deal. This is according to Reuters. Qatar's prime minister secured Iran's agreement to a U.S. proposed ceasefire with Israel after Iran's strike on U.S. Air Force Base, and Trump sought Qatar's diplomatic help. A diplomat briefed on the ceasefire talks shared more details on what actually took place. The source shared that President Trump spoke with Qatar's emir, informed him that the U.S. had gotten Israel to agree to a ceasefire with Iran. The source also said that the president had asked Qatar to help persuade Iran to do the same. Following that, Vice President Vance coordinated with Qatar's prime minister on the details. The source also said that this effort proved successful, and following discussions with the Qatari prime minister, the Iranians then agreed. Now, I'm not sure if anyone expected them to agree, but they did. The source continued this via Fox News that the deal was coordinated at the highest level by the president, the vice president, and the Qatari emir and the prime minister directly. They were all carrying on these negotiations directly. They weren't leaving it to diplomat. The source said despite having been attacked just hours earlier, the Qataris set aside their grievances and prioritized regional security to get this deal done. And boy, what a great job they did. A lot of feedback, a lot of response on Capitol Hill. Democrat Representative Jared Moskowitz spoke to reporters following the announcement, saying that it looks like the ceasefire news is real. If you're saying that Israel could now degrade Iran's military, the United States could degrade Iran's nuclear capability in 12 days and not a single American life or us going to war, that sounds like a win for the country. And he's right. I mean, who would have ever thought that this could have ended so quickly with so little bloodshed? President Trump sent a message to Russia, to China, to North Korea, to the entire world that he doesn't want war. He doesn't want to use the United States' military, but we have a very capable military. And if pushed in the corner, if we have to, in the name of our own security, in the name of peace, he will use the might of the U.S. military, and he will use it effectively. And he will stop you in your tracks if, in fact, you are threatening any citizen of the United States, Israel, or any of our allies. That was the message that was sent loud and clear this week. And as President Trump said, thank God that he blessed us and that God put his hand on this entire situation. Joey Hudson here. America is facing a health crisis, and the answer isn't more meds. I lost over 30 pounds on the PhD weight loss plan without Ozempic or any weight loss shots. Don't settle for a lifetime of medication. GLP-1 injections like Ozempic help some people lose weight, but they come with side effects, high cost, and most gain it back when they stop. At PhD Weight Loss, we reveal Big Pharma's big secret. Your body already makes GLP-1, the appetite-fighting hormone. Our program helps your body make it naturally so you'll drop the pounds faster. With the PhD method, no side effects, no long-term risk, no rebound weight gain, just natural, lasting results, all without hunger or cravings. Right now, get a free body scan and personalized metabolic assessment. Discover your body's true potential without a shot. It's free and gives you the keys to your personalized plan. Do like I did and don't trade your health for a quick fix. Call now at 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com. As we continue our conversation about the ceasefire that was agreed to late afternoon yesterday, I got to say, I was very concerned about where this whole conflict was headed. And I'm not sure that I thought we were going to be talking about a ceasefire today, for sure. The president's announcement came literally after Iran had launched additional missile strikes, of course, against an Air Force base, a United States Air Force base in Qatar yesterday, in retaliation for our attack on their nuclear program. Qatar's foreign minister condemned the strike in a statement, saying that the missiles were destroyed and that there were no casualties. Trump wrote earlier yesterday, "I'd like to thank the highly respected Emir of Qatar for all that he's done in seeking peace for the region." Regarding the attack today at the American base in Qatar, I'm pleased to report that in addition to no Americans being killed or wounded, very importantly, there have also been no Qatari killed or wounded. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, again, so based on that, based on Iran retaliating, did you ever think that this could happen so quickly? Did you ever think that we would see a ceasefire, that we'd be talking about a ceasefire today? Let's talk a little about how this all came about. Operation Midnight Hammer. It marked the largest B-2 operational strike in history as the United States aimed to deliver a decisive blow against Iran's nuclear program. We were making a statement. And as I read more and learn more about this mission, I have so much more respect for our military. Now, look, I've had great respect for our military for years. But when you see something like this, does it not just make you proud to be an American? Does it not make you proud to know what we're capable of doing? The mission started at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. Think about that. It's the only operational base for the B-2 stealth bomber. Fox News, Fox and Friends host Steve Doocy paid a visit to the base yesterday to capture the sense of pride in what the service members there do on the nation's behalf. And it was very interesting to hear some of the response and that pride that was shown from that base. Representative Mark Alford, who represents that area, his congressional district encompasses that base, said, "I'm extremely proud of the men and women here, not just the pilots, but the maintainers, the men and women who refueled these jets." He said, "Imagine being in a jet for 36 hours to go over to Iran, to strike Iran, and come back. It was all done with precision under the direction of President Donald J. Trump, and I'm excited that we have decapitated the nuclear capabilities of Iran." So here's what was involved. Bombers equipped with these massive bunker busters took off from Whiteman. They flew across the Atlantic to Iran, where they dropped their payloads, and then turned around and headed home. Representative Alford reflected on an instance decades ago. He said when, as a television reporter in Waco, Texas, he heard President Ronald Reagan talking about a plane that no one could see. You remember when these B-2 bombers, when we first learned that we had something like this? We didn't know exactly what it looked like or what it was capable of, but you heard about this B-2 stealth bomber. And it makes us all proud to know what they're capable of. Representative Alford said, "I thought, what in the crazy thing are you talking about? And here I am, the 4th Congressional District representative, who gets to represent this great base, not just the B-2, but also the programs out here, the MQ-9 Reaper, the Black Hawk helicopters." He said, "This base is a jewel of the Department of Defense, and I get to represent it. I'm very honored," as he should be. I mean, think about that. You're a United States congressman, and you have this base in your district. It's the pride of the world. So this mission, of course, received praise from all around the world, but it's also being criticized from others who have argued that the president should have sought congressional approval before taking action. Now, how can they make that argument when we now have a ceasefire? You think they're going to continue to try to, I think it was AOC who wants to impeach the president. We have this hugely successful mission. We got the outcome that we wanted, a ceasefire, but the Democrats are still upset because President Trump did not come to them and ask him if he could do it. Vice President J.D. Vance praised the military service members who carried out the mission. He said these guys flew from Missouri. They didn't land a single time. They dropped 30,000-pound bombs on a target the size of a washing machine and then got back home safely without ever landing in the middle of the East. Whatever our politics, we should be proud of what these guys accomplished. And he's right, isn't he? The vice president is exactly right. I mean, think about that. Dropping these bombs on the target the size of a washing machine at a very high altitude. Again, does this not just make you proud? I'd love to hear from you. Text me, email me, joe@joeyhudson.com. Leave me a message on the MyPillow message line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. How does this make you feel? What pride do you have in our military, knowing what we were able to accomplish? Knowing that men and women in uniforms representing our country are capable of carrying out such a feat. I mean, think about that. 36 hours. 36 hours. These pilots were in these airplanes without a break. I mean, yeah, they were able to lie down, to sleep, and to rest, but still, what an amazing feat. Again, I'm just so very, very proud. Let me tell you what else I'm proud about. I'm proud about American-made windows here in the upstate. American-made windows of the upstate. They're locally owned, family-run business in Greer. Don and Pam, I was able to run by and meet Jackson, the new office manager. Jackson's their new puppy. Look, Don brings over 50 years of experience. Pam has she's been in the industry for nearly 15 years, and together they built the business on trust, integrity, and care. American-made windows of the upstate, they're on a mission to protect upstate families from high-pressure sales tactics and those overpriced quotes. They absolutely hate that kind of business, and they just don't do it. From your first call to long after installation, they stand beside you every step. No surprises, no gimmicks, just honest service, just what we expect from people that we do business with. American-made windows, they do first-class work quickly, cleanly, and affordably. American-made windows, they believe that form follows function, so their windows and doors are beautiful, they're strong, and they're durable. And here's the good news. Right now, Don and Pam's offering 12 months, 0% interest financing, or $50 off per window on orders of 5 or more. Call today, 864-499-8853, 864-499-8853, or online at amwupstate.com. Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Now, let's talk about something that should have every American, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, wide awake and watching. Iranian nationals crossing into our country under Joe Biden's broken border policies during a time of heightened threats from the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, yesterday was anything but business as usual on Capitol Hill. During a House budget hearing, Attorney General Pam Bondi was asked a simple but crucial question by Texas Congressman Troy Gonzalez. The question was this: how many Iranian nationals in the United States have been convicted of crimes? Ms. Bondi's answer? She didn't have an exact number, but she did confirm this. Over 1,000 Iranian nationals crossed into the U.S. illegally during the Biden administration. Now, let's be real here. That's not a statistic. That's a red flag waving in everyone's face, or at least it should be. When we look at this a little bit closer, a senior Customs and Border Protection source revealed that 1,504 Iranians were arrested at the southern border during Biden's term. 729 of them were released into the U.S., released into our communities. That's almost half, folks. Released into the United States under Joe Biden. No proper vetting, no background checks that anyone can confidently vouch for. And we're not talking about tourists overstaying visas. We're talking about border crossers, many of whom come from a regime that literally chants death to America in the streets, and a regime that we just bombed the crap out of and took their nuclear capabilities out. Now, Ms. Bondi's comments weren't just a blip in the hearing. They aligned with the Department of Homeland Security bulletin issued just the day before, warning that the Iran conflict has created a heightened threat environment here at home. DHS stated, and let me quote, "Extremists in the United States may independently mobilize to violence if Iranian leadership were to issue a call to arms." Now, yes, they agreed to a ceasefire. Were they serious, or was this just a lull in the fighting? Was this just time to let these extremists activate or get into place? Now, again, I don't want to be I don't want to be conspiratorial here. I don't want to scare anyone. But let me translate what I just said for the Beltway elite still pretending that we live in a world of whatever. We're talking about potential sleeper cells right here on American soil. And when Representative Gonzalez asked the Attorney General point blank about the existence of these sleeper cells, her answer, "I cannot talk about that in this setting," meaning in a public hearing. You know what that means? You don't say that unless you know something. something serious, something you don't want to broadcast on C-SPAN. That alone should set off alarm bells, or at least put us on notice. But here's what's even more disturbing. While Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were asleep at the wheel, President Trump's out there doing what leaders do now. Over the weekend, of course, Trump ordered the precision strikes on 3 of the nuclear facilities. Why? Because Iran was once again pushing its nuclear program to the brink. And unlike Joe Biden, Donald Trump doesn't negotiate with nuclear terrorists. He proved that this week. Iran responded predictably with a missile strike on U.S. Air Force Base in Qatar. Thankfully, no American lives were lost. President Trump said the Iranians gave early notice of the attack, suggesting they may have wanted de-escalation. And then, of course, yesterday we hear about the ceasefire. Let's be honest here. Commander-in-Chief announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran was underway. Now, think about this. Whether that hold remains is yet to be seen. We pray that it will be. Iran's promises are, I guess you could kind of say, about as stable as Kamala Harris's poll numbers were. But it doesn't stop there, folks. You want to know just how real this threat from Iran is? Let's go back to last year when the Department of Justice indicted 3 men in connection with a murder-for-hire plot that allegedly originated in, guess where? Iran. The targets? A prominent American journalist, President Donald Trump himself. The sitting president at the time was the target of a foreign-backed assassination plot. One of the men involved remains at large. We don't know where he is. An Afghan national allegedly paid by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, an Iranian terror arm. FBI Director Chris Wray at the time didn't mince words. He said, and I quote, "These charges expose Iran's continued brazen attempts to target U.S. citizens, including President-elect Donald Trump." That was back last year. Let that sink in. While our southern border remained wide open at the time, our enemies actively trying to kill leaders on American soil. So if you connect the dots here, you've got 1,500, actually probably more than, 1,500 Iranian nationals crossing the southern border during the Biden administration. You have DHS issuing warnings against radicalized violence. You have ICE agents overwhelmed in law enforcement in defensive posture. You have the Department of Justice investigating Iranian-linked terror plots on our own citizens. And, of course, you have President Donald Trump stepping in to restore deterrence, only to be criticized by the same Washington insiders who let the threats grow in the first place, who were happy with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris letting these people come into our borders. You don't have to be a political junkie to figure out what potentially could happen here. The American people are being put at risk by ideology over security. The Biden administration refused to acknowledge the basic cause and effect principle. A wide open border is a national security disaster waiting to happen, because in reality, it wasn't just Mexicans coming across the border. It wasn't just people being persecuted in South America coming across the border. The world knew that our borders were open. Terrorists from Iran knew our borders were open. And that should have a chilling effect right now. It's not just Republicans saying this. DHS issuing alerts. Border agents blowing the whistle. Lawmakers like Representative Tony Gonzalez are asking the questions. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, who, by the way, is doing an incredible job, made it clear we are on high alert. Good, because we should be. Here's the bottom line. It shouldn't take another 9/11 for Washington to wake up. It shouldn't take another botched Iran deal, another Benghazi, another military funeral for someone to finally say, hey, maybe letting in hundreds of undocumented individuals from one of the most anti-American regimes on earth was not very smart. And President Trump acted. He led, and yes, he has shown strength to the entire world. He made a statement. The left, they're calling it reckless still. The media, they'll focus on tone, not substance. And the bureaucrats, they'll hide behind red tape and PR statements. But you, the American people, you and me, we know what's really going on here. We are in a time where clarity matters more than ever. We need our leaders to act boldly, secure our borders, eliminate threats, and put America first. Who's doing that? President Donald Trump is doing that. President Donald Trump promised us last year that he would, in fact, do that. Now, again, I don't want to scare anybody. And yes, we should be proud. Again, we should be celebrating what our military has accomplished. But we still need to be vigilant, don't we? We still need to watch over our backs in our own communities, because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris allow people into our country they should not have. We can't undo that, but we can certainly support ICE. We can certainly support the Department of Homeland Security. We can support local law enforcement to make sure that we catch these people and that we punish them, that we send them back to Iran, we send them back to wherever they came. If they came here to do us harm, we need to make a clear statement on that no, you're not coming to our country. You're not going to come and harm Americans on American soil. We're just not going to allow it. Donald Trump's not going to allow it. Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. On the text line, and boy, have you sounded off, and I love getting your texts. Continue to send those. I'll try to share as many as I can. You can email me too, joey@joeyhudson.com. Your comments are always welcome on the MyPillow message line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Always use promo code Joey when you go to mypillow.com, and you'll save big time. You'll get the best deal Mike Lindell has to offer when you use promo code Joey at mypillow.com. Let me just give you a quick example. Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees, they want to thank all the listeners for your continued support. Mike has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of their life. He didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He created the best bed sheets ever. And right now, Mike Lindell is offering the best deal on his Percal bed sheets. You can get a set for only $24.98, but again, you got to use promo code Joey. So call 800-893-4059, go to MyPillow.com, and the MyPillow Percal sheets are yours for just $24.98. They're breathable, they have a cool, crisp feel, they have deep pockets to fill over any size mattress. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for you, which is crucial for your health. MyPillow.com. Oh, by the way, for a limited time, when your order's over $100, you're also going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Call 800-893-4059. Go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Joey. On the text line, Ray writes, "Good day, Joey. We have a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. This is what winning looks like. I hope Marjorie Taylor Greene and others can follow Elon Musk and make peace with our president. Did you notice that the price of oil went down instead of up as the experts predicted? Thank you, Heavenly Father." And you're right, Ray. We got to be thanking God for this ceasefire and what he has done for the world. And again, I get back to, did you notice that President Trump in a number of statements this week, he's talked about thanking God for his blessings. Jennifer writes on the text line, "Hey, Joey, love the pizza delivery countdown to Midnight Hammer report. Makes perfect sense to me. As W. Bush would say, great strategery." Oh, I'd forgotten that. He did say that, didn't he? It says, and if you recall, Rush adopted that word thereafter and often repeated it on the radio. Well, Jennifer, we're repeating it too. Strategery. It does come off like a really good word, doesn't it? You are so right. Paul was responding to my question about world involvement in yesterday's show. He says, world involvement? Sure, after we set our nation first. After our borders are secure and our economy is squared away, then maybe we can begin reaching out once again, keeping our alliances firm, not helping our enemies. Paul in Greenville. Then in a follow-up, Paul says again, it may seem naive. I trust President Trump. He has the wisdom needed to lead the nation, no doubt gifted to him by God. You're so right there, Paul. Susan from Hartwell says, Thomas Massey just signed his political death warrant. According to Breitbart News, Trump will be campaigning for his primary opponents. Faye says, Joey, as General Flynn said, I believe God is giving America one more chance to return to its roots of Christianity. Will we? Donald Trump is being used by God for the perils of the time. Anyone who disagrees can't be a Bible believer. Ezekiel 38. Keep up the great information, Joey. Well, thank you, Faye. Appreciate you listening. We'll keep on trying. Albert says, good morning, Joey. I back President Trump 100%. And looking at the news, the mainstream media still can't report the truth. They're still blaming the unrest in the Middle East on Israel and President Trump. Will they ever get over their Trump derangement syndrome? No, Albert, I don't think they will. I don't think they want to get over their Trump derangement syndrome because they love hating Donald Trump. Appreciate those texts. Your emails are welcome too, joey@joeyhudson.com. And as mentioned, you can leave a message on the MyPillow message line, 864-477-JOEY. Hunter Biden's headed back to court. Now, yes, Daddy pardoned him, and he can't face criminal charges, but that doesn't stop civil proceedings. And according to the New York Post, Hunter Biden owes the law firm that represented him in federal investigations, including his Delaware gun case, substantially in excess of $50,000. This according to a lawsuit filed against the former first son yesterday. The complaint reads against Hunter, again, this was in the Superior Court of the District of Columbia, by Winston and Strawn, the law firm that represented him. This is a breach of contract action against Mr. Biden for unpaid legal fees. The lawsuit says that Hunter, who's 55 years old, hired Winston and Strawn to represent him in several complex matters, including criminal trial in the United States District Court for the District of Delaware, and that the firm provided him with extensive legal services in those matters, which generated a substantial amount of fees. Winston and Strawn claims Hunter has dodged the firm's repeated efforts to collect those fees. In their complaint, they say, although a portion of those fees have been paid, Mr. Biden presently owes substantially in excess of $50,000 in fees and interest that are due and payable. Despite repeated requests for payment, Mr. Biden has failed to pay the amounts he owes. Well, of course he's failed to pay them because he doesn't think he has to. Hunter Biden doesn't think the rules apply to him because Daddy has always bailed him out. Daddy did so again at the last minute after he promised the American people last year that he would not pardon little Hunter. And he did anyway. I guess Daddy's going to have to write a check for these legal fees. The lawsuit includes a copy of the, quote, engagement contract that Biden signed on December 23rd, 2022, engaging Winston and Strawn to represent him with respect to any congressional oversight and investigation events in which you are involved, help you coordinate the work of other attorneys, advisors, related parties on pending issues and communication strategy, and assist in the investigations by the U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware. Abe Lowell, Hunter's attorney, who has since left Winston & Strawn, notes that his current hourly rate is $1,510 per hour. Wow. Is anybody worth $1,510 an hour? That billing rates for other attorneys, according to the complaint, and legal assistants too, range from $230 to $1,945 an hour. Lowell did not immediately respond to requests from media sources about his fees before leaving the firm. Winston & Strawn said it devoted substantial resources to defend Hunter in the matters related to his engagement contract, resulting in substantial legal fees. They say while some of Biden's bills were paid between March 2023 and October 2024, a substantial amount remains due and owing. Mr. Biden never objected to any of the invoices for the legal services rendered to him. And as of April 30th, 2025, the outstanding amount due, again, in excess of $50,000. Firm said it incurred substantial financial damages because of Hunter's alleged breach of the engagement contract. An initial hearing in the case is slated for September the 19th. Winston & Strawn declined comment from the media on the lawsuit. What do you think the odds are that they'll be able to collect this money? Do you think Hunter Biden will pay it? Or do you think Hunter's just laying back waiting on Daddy to pay it for him? Now, this is not the first time, as you know, Hunter has been sued for legal fees. During the congressional impeachment inquiry into former President Joe Biden, a slip of the tongue there, Hunter's so-called sugar brother, Kevin Morris, told investigators last year that he had been paying various attorneys on behalf of Hunter Biden. In May 2024, less than a month before Hunter would stand trial in Delaware in the felony gun case, Mr. Morris reportedly told associates that he was, quote, completely tapped out amid mounting legal bills and would not be paying any further. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.